Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to Apply. All right, so today I have Judy Hersch on the line, and she's a life and business solutions coach over at Evolution Solutions. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm thrilled to be here today.
Oh, man, I'm thrilled to have you here. And for anybody that's been listening to this show for a long time, they know I love coaching and I love talking to coaches because I think they make such a difference in people's lives. So I'll just be upfront and say I have a huge bias there, and I love when people help other people get results. So I'm excited to get into your practice, Judy, and really how you're helping people over at Evolution Solutions. And just to get us started, so I'll start this show like we start them all. So, Judy, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Judy, what mission matters to you?
I love that question. What mission matters to me is we're all about inspiring and transforming individuals, businesses, and organizations into thriving, cultures that really make a difference in the world. It's really this ripple effect that happens. It's all about, we have way more potential, Adam, than any of us realize, and I'm all about helping people to really access and maximize the potential that they have, and in doing so, impacting so many lives. Because each one of us, impact, hundreds and hundreds of lives. So when we can really tap into that greatness that we all have, we just have a better world, and it's much easier than people think. And that's what I'm all about, and accessing the neuroscience to really do that. So Thank you for that great question.
That's awesome, Judy, and I love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs and businesses on the line to introduce them to my audience. And so, Judy, just to get started, tell us a little bit more about Evolution Solutions.
My company has been around for about 20. I've been doing this work for about 20 years, and what we do is we work with both individuals, we work with corporations, we work with teams, and we teach them the neuroscience of change. So how to, as I was mentioning earlier, tap into such a greater potential so that they can produce, whether it's an individual, whether it's a team, whether it's a company, the results and outcomes that they really desire to achieve, and not only to produce those results, but to sustain those results. And we do that through a systematic, repeatable, reliable process that works for everyone that engages in the process and applies what they learn. And that's what's so unique about this company, my company, is that we have a system that's backed by science. So if you work the system, you apply the system, it will absolutely work for anybody who engages in it and is serious about taking their life, their results, to the next level. And we've done that for, working with people all over the world. So it's not unique to any particular group or background or industry. If you are looking to make some profound changes in your life, personally or professionally, we have the system and the process to do that. And it's so, I can't tell you how exciting and rewarding what we've seen and what we've experienced has been. I mean, it's something I've seen in my life. And so when I'm teaching this, I can speak from personal experience to help people. Although everybody has a different way of applying what I teach them. But that's the other piece of what we do in my company is we customize the approach for the individuals, the groups, the organizations, so they can get the absolute most out of what I'm training them to do.
So I don't want to oversimplify this, right? There's only so much we're going to be able to get into a 15, 20-minute podcast episode, but I do want to ask the question. So, how does somebody use, because you mentioned science more than one time, and I understand some of the background behind this, but I know for some people maybe they don't really get the importance, or they maybe just don't understand the technical part of the back end. So how does neuroscience come into play to actually make real physical change?
Yeah, there's so much to that question. It's fantastic. So essentially, we know from neuroscience that 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, and hardwired beliefs and perceptions that function like a computer program. So essentially 95% of how we interact in our daily life is subconscious. So if we're not getting the results we want and to the level that we want, then we have to learn how to rewire our subconscious programs. And that's not something that people know how to do in any way, that produces sustainable results. And this is where coaching comes in, and particularly the unique approach of neuroscience comes in, because you learn how to engage your brain in a very unique way, tapping into the subconscious programs. And so this is why, most of us say we want to make change, right? We have these great intentions. We know, a lot of times we know what we want, but that's the 5%, right? That's the conscious thoughts. But 95% of the thoughts are running our lives. So even if I say I want to make some changes and I want to make progress and I start to take action and see some changes, I'm going to have these very inconsistent results. And so, and that's what a lot of people experience, these big ups and downs in their lives, and they think, gosh, I was doing so well, I don't know what happened. And learning the neuroscience of change, and you understand how change works, how to implement change, how to tap into your subconscious, how to rewire those thoughts, through a systematic, repeatable, reliable process, you now have, Adam, a skill set for the rest of your life that you can apply again and again, because as you know, we grow, we change our desired results and outcomes and goals and vision for our future changes. But you now have learned a process for continually rewiring your thought pattern to align with the outcomes you want. So, to summarize it a little bit, most people say they want something, but they're wired up for the very opposite. I say I want to have my time and money freedom, but my brain is thinking more often, this isn't working. I don't have this. What's wrong? Why can't I get there? I'm still in debt. And so I'm really focused on the very opposite of what I say I want. So I can say, 5% focused on what I want, but 95% focused on what I really don't want and what's not working and how frustrating that is. And so you see why there's a disconnect and people can't really get there. But learning the neuroscience is exactly the formula. There's a formula, but and when you learn that, you can overcome what seems to be obstacles and feelings of being stuck and not being able to get beyond a certain level of success.
It makes perfect sense. And so, Judy, what are some of the, what's the ideal fit in terms of person, whether it's do you work one-on-one with people? Do you work with organizations? What's typically a good fit, or who gets the most value typically from working with you and your team over at Evolution Solutions? Yeah,
another great question. So what the beauty of this work is, there are no particular people that it's better for. I mean, what I would say and what we work with is, we work with CEOs of major corporations. We work with Google and Microsoft and IBM and Target and, major companies. but we also work with small individual companies, individual entrepreneurs, or with people with 2 or 3 employees. So the main, the best fit for this work is somebody who's open to a new way of thinking, a new way of showing up in life, taking action in new ways, and open to shifting their perspectives and their belief systems. Somebody who's really wants to be intentional about creating the outcomes that they desire and maybe have been wanting for years and years and years. So that's the most important thing. We've covered industries. I work from the medical, pharmaceutical, finance industry, you name it, the high-tech industries, to I even work with people that have their own businesses, housewives, or it really doesn't matter. It's about people that want to make and sustain changes, and they're open to an entirely new way of doing that. So I've never seen an approach the way that we take this approach, and I'm certified to teach this work from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's been studying brain science for over 25 years. So when I say there's a repeatable, reliable process, I really mean it. It's backed by neuroscience, and there's a step-by-step. So that's, I like to be very specific, but I'm also glad that I don't have to be specific, because we can help so many people, and we have. So we work with the United Nations. So it's pretty much, you're interested in making changes, you're serious about committing to that process, you're willing to take different actions and look at things in a different way and approach things from completely different tools and methodology than you've ever experienced before. This is the way to do it. This is cutting edge research, cutting edge methodology, cutting edge practices. And so if you are somebody who's willing to do that, this will absolutely help you achieve the outcomes, the results, and not only achieve it, because here's the key, is to sustain it. So over the long term. And that's really what I want, what we want for people, is to be able to see lasting changes in their lives. And then, of course, you're influencing all the people that you're interacting with, whether it's your family, friends, your clients, your colleagues, your organization. So yeah, this has huge implications, and I'm very excited to be able to give people these tools in their toolbox that right now very few people have access to in the world. There's 130 of us worldwide that are certified to teach this proprietary methodology.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today, Judy. If somebody's listening to this and they want to connect and they want to learn more and to follow up, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so probably the easiest way to reach me is through my website. And the best way to get to my website is myevolutionsolutions.com. So it's all one word, myevolutionsolutions.com. And I'll spell that myevolutionsolutions.com. And, I am offering, Adam, I left a few time slots on my calendar for complimentary coaching calls. So people could have a few people, if they're interested, if they get to it in time and they can book it, I would love to be able to give people an experience of what I'm talking about, so that they really understand the concept of how to bring this in a practical, usable way into their lives and apply this. So I'm going to open up some time slots for people to do that. And try to get as many people as I can, but they just have to go to myevolutionsolutions.com and they can find how to book that complimentary coaching call.
Fantastic. That's great. And let's leave it one more time. Just want to make sure people are maybe getting their pens or pencils or whatever, and what's the website and for them to get that coaching call with you, because I think it's a really awesome thing that you're offering.
Yes, so that is myevolutionsolutions.com. So the word evolution is singular, the word solutions is plural, and .com.
Perfect. Well, Judy, really appreciate you coming on the show again. It's been a pleasure having you on. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Definitely want you to be a return listener and visitor. And Judy, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it so much, Adam. You take care.